Something is about to shift. Not next month. Not when the economy picks up. Right now, exactly as you are, without you asking for it or prepping for it. Someone with real influence is about to walk up to you with a proposal that sounds too big to be true. And your first instinct is going to be to say no. Do not turn it down before you hear this. Stay with me until the end. Before we're done, I'm giving you a 3-step framework to recognize that voice of authority so this opportunity doesn't slip through your fingers again. It's not that you aren't capable. It's that specific Monday morning feeling when you open your eyes and the first thought is, why even bother? Why push so hard when nothing ever really changes? It's not just being tired. It's that ache somewhere between burnout and embarrassment, the kind you can't explain to anyone because on the outside, you're holding it together. You're answering texts, taking care of everyone else, showing up where you need to be. But inside, there's a voice saying you've hit the ceiling of what you can expect from life. It's not a lack of faith. It's the feeling that people with half your talent and half your character are getting the breaks that never come your way. And you smile, you congratulate them, and then you go home feeling a weight that doesn't have a name. It's not jealousy. It's the raw question that hits you while you're staring at the ceiling at 11 p.m. Have I been forgotten? You're still standing. That's no small thing. It's evidence that something is sustaining you even when you can't see it. Consider your engagement here a public amen. Heaven keeps a record of what you acknowledge openly. Today, you're going to understand 3 things. First, why impossible offers come through a voice of authority rather than a direct vision. The silence you interpreted as being forgotten was actually a strategic setup. Second, a 3-step protocol you can start today, even with the heaviness in your chest, to make yourself recognizable to the person who is about to find you. Third, a declaration you'll carry tomorrow morning when the day starts off looking normal. But you'll know deep down that what's coming is anything but. Stay until the end. Don't break the connection. I didn't forget you. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong. If you're being heard up above. If it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. I didn't forget you. I was building the authority of the person who is coming to get you. Close your eyes for a second, just for a moment. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you needs your full attention. Not because it's complicated, but because it's for you. And your name was already on this before you even clicked this video. 5 signs. You'll recognize at least 2. And if you do, this message didn't reach you by accident. The first sign is the physical sensation of being in the waiting room of something massive, but the door won't budge. You've positioned yourself. You've prepared. You've prayed. And you feel like you're missing it by a fraction of an inch. You called that failure. A block. Proof that maybe it wasn't for you. But that almost isn't a dead end. It's birth pangs. The proposal can't be made while you're still defining yourself by what you don't have. The second sign is when you had a strong gut feeling about a person, an opportunity, a direction, and then you started thinking you were overreacting. You minimized it. You decided it was just a wish, that you were projecting. But here's what you need to know. The enemy never attacks what has no value. The fact that you were talked into minimizing it is confirmation that the signal was real. The third sign was an encounter. Someone in a position of power crossed your path. A conversation, a referral, a name that popped up twice. You didn't know what to do with it. You let it roll around in your head for days. You called it a coincidence. You let it pass, but that window didn't close. It's being reopened right now with an understanding you didn't have before. The fourth sign is harder to admit. Even before the offer arrives, there's a sense of unworthiness. Who am I to get this? It looks like humility. It looks like spiritual discernment. But that feeling isn't humility. It's a roadblock disguised as spirituality. The offer doesn't come to the person who thinks they deserve it. It comes to the person who has been prepared. The fifth sign is the quietest. Your prayers change tone without you realizing it. You stopped asking with urgency and started thanking in advance, almost subconsciously, without even thinking about what you were doing. That's the Spirit praying for you, where your words can't reach. The offer is already in transit. 5 signs. If you recognized the 2 or more, this word was not delivered by mistake. Type "free" in the comments if this resonates with you. Close your eyes for a second. Deep breath. What I'm about to tell you won't work if your attention is split. There's a story in Genesis that most people know by the ending, but they don't understand the middle. Joseph didn't go looking for Potiphar. Potiphar went looking for Joseph. The authority that transforms your life doesn't come when you chase it. It comes when you become recognizable from inside the place where you are, even if that place feels like a prison. Pharaoh's proposal didn't come because Joseph asked for it. It came because Joseph had developed something that no free man in that kingdom had: the ability to interpret what others couldn't see. He was in a cell. No reputation, no connections, no visible track record. And yet, when the moment came, the most powerful person in the known world went to him and made an impossible offer. I put you in every hard place because I needed you to develop exactly what's going to be asked of you now. There's a documented phenomenon in major corporations. The solution that saves the company doesn't come from the high-priced consultant hired to fix it. It comes from someone who was in the room for another reason, and because they lived the problem from the inside. They see what the specialist trained to look at it from the outside never will. That person wasn't applying for the job. They didn't have the right resume, but they had something the specialist didn't: real-world experience with the pain. You aren't in the wrong room. You're in the right room for the reason that felt wrong. Joseph in prison and that unintended employee have one thing in common: neither was campaigning. The impossible offer doesn't come to the person raising their hand. It comes to the person standing with integrity where no one is watching. Drop a comment. Do you see yourself more as Joseph or that unintended solution? And why, in one word? Let me stop for a full minute. You aren't here by accident. This video didn't find you because you were searching for it. It found you because something was directing you to this moment. 3 objective facts. First, impossible offers have a window of opportunity, and most people miss that window not for a lack of faith, but for a lack of recognition. Second, the authority figure about to approach you isn't looking for perfection. They are looking for availability and a real presence. Third, the only obstacle that can make this offer slip through your hands is internal, not external. And here is who you are in the middle of all this. Look at me, not at what's missing, not at what went wrong. Look at me, because I am looking at you right now. Not at who you're going to be, but who you already are. And that is exactly who needs to show up when the offer arrives. 3 identities. Exactly 3. No more, because each one is real and all 3 are yours. The first identity, forged in the shadows. You aren't someone who got left behind. You're someone who was shaped away from the spotlight because the offer coming your way can't be handled by someone who still needs public validation to move. Your time in the shadows wasn't a punishment. It was private tutoring. What you developed in the silence, in the exhaustion with no audience, in being faithful with no witness, that is exactly what the authority coming your way recognizes. What this identity authorizes is simple. You don't need to prove anything before you receive. You've already been proven where no one saw. The second identity, translator of the impossible. Like Joseph, you developed a capacity in the hard places to see what others miss. In your relationships, in dead-end situations, in reading people and moments. That skill isn't natural. It's fruit. The fruit of years spent interpreting your own life without a manual. And that is exactly what the offer is going to activate. What this identity authorizes. You can walk into rooms where you don't have a title because you carry a language that no one there learned the way you did. The third identity, reserved for the right hour. You weren't forgotten. You were kept. The chosen ones don't arrive before the moment. They arrive at the exact second the proposal needs someone who has walked through what you've walked through. Your availability today, even with the wait, even without understanding it all, even without being sure, is the signal heaven is waiting for. What this identity authorizes, the yes you're going to give when the offer arrives, isn't impulsivity, it's alignment. Which of these identities is yours? Write the name in the comments. Forged in the shadows, translator of the impossible, or reserved for the right hour. And subscribe to the channel, so the next word finds you already in position. The 3-step recognition protocol. Do this today. You don't need anything other than what you already have. Step 1. Recognize the voice. Take the 5 signs we named. Write down which ones you recognized. Not to analyze them, but to declare out loud, I recognize this sign. It is real. I will not minimize it again. This spoken declaration isn't symbolic. It breaks the pattern of downplaying things that made you miss other windows. Step 2. Recognize the identity. Choose one of the 3 identities, forged in the shadows, translator of the impossible, or reserved for the right hour. Write it somewhere you'll see it tomorrow. This is who I am, and this is exactly what the offer needs from me. Not somewhere hidden. Somewhere you'll see it. Because tomorrow is going to start off looking normal, and you're going to need to be reminded of who you are on the inside. Step 3. Recognize the authority. Think of an authority figure who crossed your path in the last 6 months. Someone you didn't know what to do with when they appeared. You don't need to do anything right now. Just acknowledge it out loud. That encounter was not an accident. That sentence doesn't start a conversation you aren't ready for. It opens your perception to what is already in motion. The sign that the protocol worked isn't euphoria. It's stillness. That specific feeling that something just clicked. That you stopped fighting against what was being prepared for you. When that stillness hits, don't analyze it. Just receive it. In the next 72 hours, 3 things will be launched at you. Not as a possibility, as a certainty. The first tactic is selective memory. It'll show up disguised like this. You'll remember every single time you thought it was the moment, and it wasn't. It'll look like prudence. It'll look like spiritual maturity. Your weapon against it is Psalm 126, verse 1. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dreamed. Restoration feels fake when it arrives. Don't mistake unbelief for discernment. The second tactic is the voice of comparison. It'll show up like this. Someone in your circle will get good news. It'll feel like a sign that it's their turn, and yours is still TBD. Your weapon is this. Your offer is not the same as theirs. You aren't in the same line. You were positioned for a specific calling that doesn't compete with anyone else's. The third tactic is false urgency. It'll show up like this. Something urgent and legitimate will pop up exactly when you're about to take a step. A family demand, a crisis at work, news that demands immediate attention. It'll look like being responsible. Your weapon. The enemy uses real things to block eternal things. The step you need to take takes 3 minutes. Urgency isn't an excuse. It's the tactic. The most dangerous version of all this doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. The voice saying you aren't ready, that you need to be different, that the offer must be for someone else. That voice has a name. It's the block that this message came to dismantle. Type "protected" in the comments. The decree is sealed. Before you go, do one thing. Hold both your hands open, palms up like someone ready to receive. Not clenched, not crossed. Open. Now let go of the weight of this week. The comparison, the doubt, the 11 p.m. questions. Let it go. Not because it stopped being real, but because it no longer defines you in this moment. I saw that specific night when you stayed awake thinking you'd missed your window. I was there. I wasn't ignoring you. I was protecting you from a version of the offer you weren't ready to handle. The version coming now is the right version, and you are ready. Not because you became perfect, but because you became available. I saw every time you smiled for someone else who got what seemed to be yours and then went home, unable to explain the wait. I was on that drive home with you, not as a distant witness, but as the one sustaining you so you'd make it here whole. When that person finds you, and they will, do not say no before you listen. I sent them. I prepared this meeting. I chose the exact moment, the exact circumstance, the exact words they will use. And I will be with you in the second, just like I was in all the others. At 11 p.m., on Monday mornings, in the moments you kept standing, without knowing why. May the offer that was reserved for you be recognized when it arrives. May the authority coming your way find someone present, open and unafraid. May what was withheld be released now, under the name that heaven has placed over you. It is done. Amen. Write "done" in the comments and share this video with one specific person. Someone you know is in the waiting room of something big and hasn't recognized the signs yet. And if you want to go deeper, the link is in the pinned comment, waiting for you just like it was meant to. I'll see you in the next video, because there's another layer that needs to be revealed. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message started. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.